Well, there it is, one potentially dead boiler. I suppose I could just fill it up with water, plug it in and see if the fairies have made it go again or not. It could just be that the thermal cutout triggered. It wouldn't be the first time people have had that happen with these boilers, but it would be the first time I've had it in about 5 years. Or maybe my second ever brew I had it happen where I hadn't cleaned the element properly, but the element's fine. It doesn't appear to have shown any signs of burning out. It's not overloaded with junk. You know, like you get that build up on the end of your element every batch. Well, it hasn't got that, so the element shouldn't have overheated. But where would be the fun in just plugging it in and seeing if it worked? Let's take it apart and have a look, shall we? Straight away when I turn it over, one of the things you'll notice is this foot here. Unfortunately, it's been like that since the day I had it. Got it out the box, set it up, started brewing with it. After the first brew, cleaning it and realised it was like that. But by then I had already used it, so it was too late to send it back. It hasn't actually caused me any problems so far. I have thought of maybe putting something underneath there and epoxying it or screwing through it. Any suggestions in the comments on how to fix that would be appreciated. Anyway, let's get some of these screws off. Now, looks like I'm going to have to take this plate off to get the wire out, and then I should be able to take the rest of it off. Back in a second. So yeah, it looks like those two also acted as a wire clip to crimp the cable coming in. Thermocouple wire there. Indicator light, power. Yeah, let's just try and see if I can get the bottom off and lean it over rather than unwire all of that. When I showed you inside, one thing you'll notice is this boiler, or this version of the boiler, did just have the exposed element. This is one of the original versions of this boiler. Since then they've done a new one, and the new ones have a plastic plate, a perforated plastic plate with holes in, covering that element, which is fine. It should stop any bags or anything getting in contact with the element, and also you'd hope any hops or anything like that getting into contact with the element. But unfortunately, from what people have said, it doesn't actually work that way. You end up having to take it off every time to unblock all the hops and everything that have got caught underneath it. Right, so yeah, I've got to be careful here. Let me just try and balance this up somewhere and bring you around here. So yeah, I don't know if you can see that clearly. What we've got some old residue from a boil over at one point many years ago around the edge. That'll clear up before I put this on. But basically there's just two things going in. Here you've got your temperature sensor, which looks like, yeah, there we go. That just slides in and out of that groove there. And then just the element down here. So let's unplug that. Come on, focus. Right, there we go, that's bottom off. Right, pop you back on the stand a minute because I'm going to need both hands for this. So there we go, let's get the old meter on it. Just make sure it's not open circuit or anything. So we're expecting to see some resistance here. Yeah, okay, so the element appears good. I'm starting to think it might have just been a thermal cutout. Let's clean it up, put it back together and give it a try then, because it looks, unless the main thermostat in the base here has died, it looks like it should work fine. So let's give it a go. So that's the inside of the base cleaned up, and all around the edge where that boil over that I must have had happen many years ago occurred. That was back before I learnt the trick on how to prevent them, so have a look for my tips in 5 minutes or under on how to prevent boil overs if you don't want that to happen to you. I'll make sure it pops up at the end of the video and put a link down in the comments below. But here's, I don't know if you can see that because it's very black, here's where that bit of foot's broken up. It looks to me like I should be able to put something across inside and outside to strengthen it, as long as it doesn't come back much more than that, because then it might come a bit close to there. So yeah, finish reassembling it and let's give it a go. Well, that's it reassembled. I feel almost cheated. I didn't end up with any spare parts at all, and isn't that what's supposed to happen when you take something apart and put it back together? You end up with half a dozen spare bits. Every single bit seemed to go back in. Oh well, we got a bit of water in there. Let's try it and see if we blow anything up or if it just sits there dead. Contact! And would you know it, listen to that noise. It's alive! Well, it seems Brupaks boiler does live to fight another day, which is good. I've only really been using it as a HLT for the past couple of years, and I think I will go back to doing just that. But it does seem to be doing the job again. What I think I am going to do though is bung a bit of caustic in it maybe, and give that element a hot caustic wash. Bit of a soak, see what happens. What's the worst that can happen, right? Let me just give you an idea how laughably off the thermostat has always been on this thing. It's been heating up, it's clicked off. I don't know if you can see that in this light, but the thermostat there is set to approximately 65. So you can just see the sensor probe from the STC in there. The STC has been calibrated. And yes, thank you Apple for hating people with our frequency. 84 degrees, 83.9. So it's only 18, 19 degrees C off. Hence why I've never ever relied on that thermostat for anything. But having said that, it is still working at least. It has shut the boiler off. So it's not like I've got to put it all back together properly. Anyway, just let me get gloved up because I'm going to put some caustic in there. I have got some gloves now. And caustic's one thing I never play around with without gloves. Well, you can see there's some little bits of scale that have come off that element before I've even put the caustic in. So perhaps it was just thermal cutout. Oh no, it's still not fully dissolved. Whilst we're waiting, thank you Spontex for your one-size-fits-all gloves. They really don't. I haven't got the smallest hands in the world, but all the time I worked in hospitals I only ever had to use medium gloves. And these are as tight as possible without bursting. So yeah, really uncomfortable. And your one size fits all either needs to be a little bit more generous or you move to 2 sizes. Here we go. Nasty stuff. I should probably have taken that out, but hey ho, too late. Go and get some water and give it a rinse. Oh, that's sod it. Let's bring it back in and see what temperature we're at anyway. Yeah, all that brown you can see on the element isn't build up. Well, some of it might be by the look of it. But most of it's just where the stainless plate has worn, corroded and come off it over the years. Which I was assured by the manufacturer was normal, would happen and wasn't a problem. Having said that, I'm starting to wonder, you know. That does look like some of it might be burnt on stuff. Which all must have come from that wheat beer. They're saying 56, which is a good temperature for a caustic soak. I think what I'll do, I'll plug it into the STC, let the STC keep it around 55 for an hour and see what it looks like then. So there it is after an hour. Quite a bit of stuff's come off that element. It really must have been that high protein wheat beer. I'll have to see if I can get some more off that element. You never know, we might even be able to use it as a boiler again now. But there you go, we seem to have successfully brought it back to life. Just got to try and finish cleaning it off. All the best.